So, I have some interesting questions for you. I've been reading a book called Wisdom, and this book is full of people, elders. Mm-hmm. And one of the things we were talking about earlier is how our culture has pretty much abandoned them. Yeah. And so, one of the questions I have for you is, first of all, how would you define wisdom?
Experience. Experience. Live life. As you live life, and you gain wisdom. When you accept challenges, and a very famous musician told me at one time, he says, you have to get to the point in life where you love challenges, and you look forward to overcoming challenges. And in my church, they call it victories, gaining a victory. You get a victory, it's because you overcome an adverse situation. Rather than running away from it, face it head on. And as you overcome it, it's a lesson. And most people that I've known, whom I've really respected, they wear those things on their chest like medals. The more adversity that they've overcome, it's almost like you get another medal for that. And it shows in your karma. Your karma is increased by all of the adversity that you've overcome. I mean, it just manifests in your physical body.
I love it. Yeah, it makes complete sense to me. I don't have the perspective that you have, so that's what I'm searching for here.
Yeah.
What do you have children? I don't know that you did.
I've got children, I've got grandchildren, and I've got 2 newly acquired great-grandchildren.
So how did your children coming into your life affect your life as a person, and then also as an artist? Because they have to be, they have to coincide there. Something had to have happened to your life when you had children, when you made the decision to have them, or maybe you didn't make the decision, maybe they just happened to come into your life.
Children have been the best thing that happened in my life. Otherwise, I would have been totally lost. I needed something to ground me. And my kids gave me something to ground me. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. I was kind of going in a road that was not going to be too productive for me. But because I wanted my kids to look at me as a role model and to look up to me and to respect me, then I had to be an example. And so I had to change a lot of my ways, my wayward ways, if you understand the term. So they saved my life. My kids have done, they're awesome. And nothing that any of them have done. It's just that I just wanted them to have a role model. In today's society, in our circles, and there's so many of my friends, there's so many kids out there that need that. And I was like, when you attain a certain degree of popularity, or I don't want to say notoriety, that seems in the negative, but when you attain a certain degree of respect in your profession, you have a responsibility, and you have a responsibility to the people that come after you to set, as Hugh Masekela told me one time, we stand on the shoulders of our forefathers, to kind of set an example, to pass on a high standard of morality to those that are coming up behind us. So yeah, my kids have been great for me, and I love them.
So are the grandchildren more fun? Because you hear people say that the kids are the hard part, because you have to focus so much energy, and you want to be a good parent, and you're wrapped up in also living life, and then you get older, and then your kids have kids, and you don't have to be so much of the you still have to be a role model for them, obviously, but that's kind of for their parents' job. So you can kind of get them and give them back. So how is the relationship different with your grandchildren, and how is that affecting you, and has it impacted the relationship that you have with your children as well?
I'm tired of these kids having kids. Come on. I'm like, my wife and I, what we consider ourselves? We consider ourselves career parents. Because we've raised kids. When my wife and I got married, she had 3 and I had 2. Those 3 produced 6 grandkids. My 2 produced 5 grandkids. Out of her 6 grandkids, and of her 3 kids, her one of the 6 grandkids got married and had 2 more kids. So those are the great grandkids. So we have 2 great grandkids, and they're 4 and 1.
Wow.
And we're raising a 10-year-old and a 21-year-old. 21-year-old is in college, Jason, and the 10-year-old is Jordan, who requires a little bit more attention because he's kind of special education.
Mm.
And so when I get home, I still have to get up with my wife. We get up at 6:30 every morning to get him off to school. You know, so it's a good thing because it keeps me, it really keeps me from aging because I don't have time to age.
I love it.
My plate is full. I have no time. Aging is something that I have to be put on the back burner.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to jump
Please,
around a
go
little
ahead.
bit here. So there's a lot of talk. People have a lot of talk about the globe and what's happening, you know, with the global warming and
Mm-hmm.
and you know, people are trying to go green and
Mm-hmm.
working in their own gardens. And so, have you seen that change, or have you seen that change over, you know, the past few decades? And are you actively involved in that change yourself right now?
Well, I can't really get involved. I don't really have the time to get involved with that many organizations, but I try to do my part. We recycle. We plant plants all over our house. We have plants. You know, we try to green up our house as much as possible, and we try to observe. You know, there's no smoking, anything near my house, and like I said, we do. You know, we do our part in recycling and
Amazing.
and the best that we can. You know, with what we have that we can work with. You know, we do the best that we can with it. But yes, there is a big change in consciousness with people. People today are becoming a lot more conscious on a spiritual level, on a physical level, on a social level. People are just becoming a lot more conscious. The people they're eating a lot healthier now. Even the fast food places all over California, which happens to be the fast food capital of the world, California. But all of the places like McDonald's, and they're all going into salads now, and yogurt and fruit and making dishes now, because so many people now are kind of getting away from the Big Mac and going in towards veggie burgers and fruit and salads and things like that. And then there's just a consciousness, awareness of people all over. You know, smoking is now becoming a thing that very few people are doing now. In California, it's banned in just about every public facility. There's no smoking, you know. So people are becoming a lot more healthy, and it's it's getting to be a hard thing now, you know, for people up on Capitol Hill in Washington, because, you know, they're looking at Social Security and people are living longer, and they're like, wait a minute now, this is going to be a problem for us because we've got to have a big pot now for Social Security now, so that we can take care of all these people for this extended lifetime that is happening now. So yeah, I'm glad to even see it now. There's been a big change now in the conscious level of everyone.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is great. I see it too.
Yeah.
And my perspective is so much smaller than yours, but I'm still looking at the same world.
Yeah.
So we just passed a new health care bill, and of course this is going to be a little more United States things here, but it also is relevant to the rest of the world because the rest of the world looks to the United States for these things. So what is your opinion of that? Because I'm really happy that it passed, but I'm also a little let down by it, you know, because so many other places have had health care for all their people, and they provided for their people. And so here we are, a first world country, and we're just now getting reform. You know, to me, it's not quite enough, and I think I speak for a lot of people. But how important is that to you and your family? You know, having that kind of reform.
It's great. It's great. I mean, 32 million more people now have health care coverage now because of this bill. And I think it's a step in the right direction. And anything that's going to be a step on the positive side is going to diminish the negative. And I think that's a good thing. Anything that's going to be positive, you know. without getting in, getting on a platform now and getting too political.
Yeah.
There's been so much greed and corruption that now it's finally great now to see some transparency in our government now, where the public is. I get emails from the president. Never happened before. I contributed to his campaign, and I get emails now from the president and from his staff, David Fluff and David Axelrod, and which was unheard of before. And so now it's like I feel inclusive now in the process, in the political process now, and I think that's a wonderful thing that's happened now in our country. And hopefully that it'll set the stage, and it'll be an example for other countries and cultures that we need coverage for everyone. Our president is much more inclusive as he is divisive. He's not that. He's inclusive. He's trying to do. I mean, it's an idealistic way, but I mean that's what we're about. Our country is made up of all different kinds of cultures, and we have to get along, like it or not, because we all share the same planet.
So how has you've been playing for so many years, and you played with amazing artists, and that must have affected you. You've been at Warwick how long now?
20 years. 1990.
And I'm sure you've met a lot of great people. I've been fortunate enough to meet some amazing people here already, and including you.
It's been a blessing.
Yeah,
it's been a blessing.
So how has playing music and being a part of a family like Warwick, how has that affected your life since you've been here?
It's broadened my scope right off. It has broadened me immensely. I've met so many different players. I mean, coming in here and listening to guys like other bass players that I've admired, and I can hear them up close and talk to them, and we can kind of like, network, and we can, as we say in church, we can fellowship. And I can fellowship with so many wonderful, incredible musicians and pick their brains, because I'm still a student. I'm still constantly learning and stealing from everybody that I hear. And it's been unbelievable for me. I love the Warwick family because it's such an international family. And it's like we were talking about earlier about the political aspect of it, that we have so much to share. We have so much to offer. Music has become so broad. Jazz has become so broad now,
Yes.
That now, I mean, every culture has something to offer to expand jazz, the parameters of jazz, even more now. So it's just a wonderful thing. I mean, I look forward to getting around my Warwick family that I consider now. I mean, it's a family. Hans Peter has just put together an incredible group, along with Jonas Hellberg now. They've put together just an incredible group of musicians who all get along, who all share, who we get together, we hang out. We've always said, a band that can hang out together, they'll play together well. And that's how it is with Warwick. We all get along, we all have fun together, we all network, we all fellowship with one another, and there's no animosity or anything like that going on. I mean, it's such a wonderful situation. Plus the fact that these are some of the finest instruments in the world, as far as I'm concerned. And that's the reason why I started playing Warwick bass 20 years ago, and I haven't moved away from Warwick in that whole span of time. They've treated me like family, Hans Peter and his family, who I love, and everyone, the whole staff, the whole entire staff, everyone that I have met has just been a joy to be around. And that goes into making a great product, because everybody is so cool and everybody is so professional. I mean, they're not only great to be around, but they're great at what they do. This is almost like an all-star organization filled with all-stars. When I did the Arsenio Hall show, he handpicked, one of the reasons why that show was successful is that he handpicked every single person, from the pages all the way up to the producers. He handpicked everyone. He knew who he wanted to have to make his show really be a success. And it seems like they've done the same thing with this organization. These guys, whether it's Hans Peter or Jonas, they've handpicked people who are really capable and good and great at what they do, and put the group like that together, you can't have anything but success.
I've seen you having so much fun
Yeah,
with all these people here,
Yeah,
and I've been
I'm
watching you
having
play.
fun. Yes.
And I think that speaks volumes
Yeah.
about who you are, about your intent with your life.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you are still the student, and I think that's an amazing thing for everybody to follow.
Mhm.
And one of the most important people in my life, she led by example only. She didn't have to talk a whole lot, and you get to talk with your instrument, and then everybody gets to hopefully follow in your footsteps and see that that's a wonderful way to live, that kind of camaraderie between people that you enjoy being around,
Right.
and
Right.
this family that you speak of called
Right.
Warwick.
Right. And if I may make a little plug, if you don't mind,
Oh, please.
I just finished recording, not just finished, but I finished last year, and it's being pressed at the moment, and I have a new recording coming out where I'm playing on Warwick basses.
Mm.
And it's kind of going to be a dedication to this wonderful company that I've been so fortunate to be associated with for all these years. And it's called Arabesque, and it's a solo CD album by me on Elisa Records.
You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank
My
you very,
pleasure.
very much.
My pleasure.